for the calories, but too much sugar, too much of anything, I think is.
From the outside, Buddy Valastro's life once looked like a fairy tale built from sugar and flour. He was the smiling face behind towering cakes, the confident leader of a loud, loving family, and the man who turned a small neighborhood bakery into a global brand. Millions welcomed him into their homes every week through television screens, watching him juggle deadlines, family drama, and jaw-dropping cake designs with ease. But behind that polished image was a story far more complicated, one shaped by early loss, overwhelming pressure, public missteps, and a sudden accident that nearly ended everything he had worked for. Buddy's journey is not just about baking, it's about resilience, identity, and learning how to rebuild when life takes an unexpected turn. A childhood shaped by family and flour. Buddy Valastro, born Bartolo Valastro Jr. on March 3, 1977, grew up in a tight-knit Italian-American family where food was love and work was survival. Raised in Hoboken, New Jersey, he was the youngest child and the only son among 5 siblings, surrounded by strong women and guided by parents who believed deeply in discipline, tradition, and sacrifice. His father, Bartolo Sr., purchased Carlos Bakery in 1964, turning it into more than a business. It became the heart of the family. For Buddy, the bakery wasn't a backdrop. It was his classroom, playground, and future, a place where he learned early that success came from showing up every day, no matter how tired you were, learning the craft before growing up. While most kids his age were focused on school and friends, Buddy was learning how to knead dough, frost cupcakes, and listen carefully to customers. By the time he was 11, he was already working at Carlos Bakery after school, absorbing everything his father taught him. Baking wasn't just about recipes, it was about pride, precision, and responsibility. His father believed that every pastry carried the family name, and Buddy took that lesson to heart. Those long afternoons behind the counter planted the foundation for a career that would later captivate the world, though at the time, it simply felt like helping the family survive. Losing a father. Too soon. In 1994, Buddy's world changed forever when his father was diagnosed with lung cancer. The illness moved quickly, leaving the family little time to prepare. Buddy was only 17 years old when he lost not just his father, but his mentor and guide. Overnight, the responsibility of Carlos Bakery fell onto his shoulders. There was no gradual transition, no safety net, and no pause for grief. Buddy had to grow up instantly, stepping into a role he had trained for emotionally, but not fully prepared for professionally. The loss left a permanent mark, shaping his drive and his fear of failure. A promise that became a mission. Before his father passed, Buddy made a promise to turn Carlos Bakery into something bigger, something lasting. At the time, it was a son trying to comfort a dying parent, but that promise became the compass for his entire life. With no formal business education and limited resources, Buddy committed himself fully to the bakery. He worked relentless hours, learned management through trial and error, and slowly began pushing creative boundaries in cake design. Every success felt like honouring his father's memory, and every setback felt personal, as if he were letting him down. The breakthrough that changed everything. Carlos Bakery began attracting attention when Buddy's custom cakes appeared in bridal magazines, showcasing designs that felt bold, personal, and imaginative. His ability to turn ideas into edible art set him apart, and word spread beyond Hoboken. In 2007, Buddy appeared on Food Network Challenge, marking his first major television exposure. Viewers connected with his energy, confidence, and authenticity, and producers quickly realized there was more to his story than cake. There was family, history, pressure, and heart, and television was hungry for exactly that. Cake Boss and instant fame. In 2009, Cake Boss premiered on TLC, and almost overnight, Buddy Valastro became a household name. The show offered more than impressive desserts. It showed real people working under real pressure, arguing, laughing, and supporting each other through chaos. Audiences connected deeply with the family dynamic, seeing reflections of their own households in the bakery's daily drama. The show's success was massive, airing in over 200 countries and turning Carlos Bakery into an international destination. What once was a local shop became a symbol of hard work and immigrant success. When a bakery becomes a brand with fame came opportunity, and Buddy embraced it fully. Carlos Bakery expanded to multiple locations across the United States and beyond, while Buddy launched restaurants, retail products, cookbooks, and television spin-offs. His name appeared on baking tools and DIY kits, allowing fans to bring a piece of the Cake Boss world into their own kitchens. On television, he starred in additional shows that explored competition, mentorship, and business rescue, each reinforcing his image as both craftsman and leader. Yet behind the scenes, the pace was exhausting, and the pressure never stopped. The weight of constant expectation. As the brand grew, so did the demands. Buddy was managing businesses, filming television, traveling constantly, and trying to remain present as a husband and father. Over time, the stress took a toll. Buddy later shared that he experienced panic attacks, moments when his body simply shut down under the weight of expectation. For someone known for control and confidence, these moments were frightening and humbling. Seeking help forced him to confront the reality that success doesn't make a person immune to burnout or mental strain. A public mistake and a personal wake-up call. In 2014, Buddy faced a public setback when he was arrested for driving under the influence. The incident shocked fans who associated him with family values and responsibility. Buddy addressed the situation directly, apologizing publicly and acknowledging his disappointment in himself. Rather than denying or deflecting, he treated the moment as a turning point, later explaining that it forced him to reevaluate his choices and the example he wanted to set for his children. While difficult, the experience became part of his growth rather than the end of his story. The accident. No one saw. Coming in 2020, during a quiet moment at home, Buddy suffered a devastating accident that nearly ended his career. While attempting to fix a malfunctioning bowling machine in his home, his dominant right hand was severely injured. The damage was extensive, requiring multiple surgeries and months of rehabilitation. For a professional baker, the injury wasn't just physical, it was existential. Buddy openly admitted that he feared losing the very thing that defined him, questioning who he would be if he could no longer work with his hands. Rebuilding. More than a hand. Recovery was slow, painful, and uncertain. Buddy had to relearn basic movements, rebuild strength, and accept help in ways he never had before. Physical therapy became a daily commitment, and progress came in small, hard-earned victories. Through it all, his family stood by him, reminding him that his value extended far beyond cake. The experience forced Buddy to slow down and reflect on what truly mattered, reshaping his understanding of success and identity. Choosing gratitude over fear. As his hand healed, Buddy began to speak openly about how close he came to losing everything. Rather than focusing on what could have been lost, he leaned into gratitude. Gratitude for survival, for family, and for a second chance. By late 2021, he had regained most of his hand function and returned to the kitchen, though with a new awareness of his limits. The accident marked not an ending, but a turning point toward a healthier balance. A new chapter, called Cake Dynasty. In 2023, Buddy returned to television with Cake Dynasty, a show that reflected his evolution. This time, the focus wasn't just on elaborate cakes or family drama, but on legacy. Buddy began mentoring his children in the bakery, passing down lessons learned through decades of triumph and hardship. The show highlighted growth, patience, and the importance of preparing the next generation, mirroring the journey his father once guided him through. The real legacy of the Cake Boss Buddy's journey reminds us that behind every public success is a private struggle, and behind every mistake is the possibility of growth. He built an empire from sugar and flour, but what defines him now is resilience, accountability, and the courage to evolve. The Cake Boss didn't disappear. He simply learned that the most important things in life can't be measured in tears or trophies, but in the people you love and the strength you find when everything feels uncertain.